The guardian of Ido-Ani, Tani Mola's tale. Once upon a time in a small, quiet village nestled in the rolling hills of the countryside called Ido-Ani. Among its residents was a humble farmer named Adebayo, known for his hard work and kindness. He lived a simple life with his family, cultivating crops and rearing a few animals to sustain his household. His most prized possession was his loyal dog, Tani Mola, a name that symbolized Adebayo's belief that no one truly owned the world or its people. Tani Mola was more than just a pet to Adebayo. The dog was his trusted companion, always by his side as he tilled the soil and walked the village paths. Little did Adebayo know, this dog would one day uncover a secret that would shake the village of Ido-Ani to its core, exposing the greed of one of the most powerful men in the land. In the heart of Ido-Ani lived a wealthy and influential man named Chief Olowolayemo, a man who had amassed his fortune through manipulation and deceit. To the villagers, he appeared generous and powerful, a man who claimed to help the village thrive. Behind closed doors, however, Olowolayemo's heart was as dark as his wealth was vast. He took advantage of the villagers, offering small loans with heavy interest that left many impoverished and desperate. One day, Chief Olowolayemo's gaze fell upon Adebayo's farm. He realized the land held potential for even more riches, and he began to plot how he could seize it for himself. Olowolayemo was not a man to be denied anything he desired, and he soon set his plan in motion, intending to manipulate Adebayo into giving up his most valuable possession. Olowolayemo sent word to Adebayo, offering to buy his farm for a meager sum, knowing full well that Adebayo would not be able to sustain himself without it. The farmer refused, but Olowolayemo was relentless. He spread rumors throughout the village that Adebayo owed him money, manipulating the villagers to turn against the humble farmer. Soon, Adebayo found himself shunned by those who had once called him friend. Despite the mounting pressure, Adebayo held his ground, refusing to give up his farm or his principles. He continued to toil alongside Tani Mola, unaware of the storm brewing around him. The dog, however, sensed something was wrong. Its instincts told it that danger was near, and it remained more vigilant than ever, watching every move made by the villagers and Olowolayemo's men. One night, as Adebayo slept, Tani Mola ventured out into the village. The dog was curious about the strange behavior of the villagers and Olowolayemo's men. Guided by a keen sense of smell and an unwavering loyalty to its master, the dog followed a trail that led it to Chief Olowolayemo's mansion. There, the dog overheard a secret meeting that would change everything. Olowolayemo was conspiring with his cronies to bankrupt Adebayo and force him off the land. Worse yet, they had hidden documents proving that Olowolayemo had been falsifying debts and contracts for years, not just against Adebayo but many villagers. Tani Mola growled softly, knowing that this information could destroy the chief's iron grip on the village. The next morning, Tani Mola led Adebayo to the exact spot where the incriminating papers were hidden underneath a rock near Olowolayemo's compound. At first, Adebayo was confused, but when he unearthed the documents, his heart raced with shock. The papers detailed the extent of Olowolayemo's treachery, listing all the villagers who had been manipulated and cheated over the years. With these papers in hand, Adebayo knew he held the key to exposing the chief. But fear crept into his heart. Olowolayemo was powerful, and the villagers had lost faith in Adebayo. He could only hope that when the truth came to light, justice would prevail. Determined to bring justice to Ido-Ani, Adebayo decided to present the evidence at the village square during the weekly market, where everyone gathered. The crowd hushed as Adebayo stepped forward, holding the incriminating documents high above his head. "The truth must be told," he declared. "Olowolayemo has been deceiving us all." Gasps rippled through the crowd as Adebayo read aloud the proof of the chief's corruption. The villagers, once blinded by Olowolayemo's wealth and forced generosity, now saw the truth. Olowolayemo, who had been watching from a distance, grew pale as the crowd turned against him. His manipulation had finally been exposed. Olowolayemo tried to flee the village, but the people of Ido-Ani, united by Adebayo's courage and the loyalty of Tani Mola, blocked every path. Cornered, Olowolayemo begged for mercy, but it was too late. His lies and deceit had poisoned the village for too long. The village leader of Ido-Ani, Baba Adekono, was a man of quiet strength and deep wisdom. In his late 60s, his face was weathered by years of labor and leadership, and his once black hair had turned white, a testament to his long service to the people. Baba Adekona's eyes, however, were sharp and observant, always taking in the details of village life with a penetrating gaze that seemed to understand more than he let on. He was a man of few words, but when he spoke, the village listened. Known for his fairness and integrity, Baba Adekona had earned the trust of the people through decades of even-handed rulings and his commitment to the well-being of Ido-Ani. He dressed in simple, traditional robes that reflected his humble nature, never indulging in the wealth or power that could have come with his position. Instead, he saw his role as a servant of the people, one whose only goal was to ensure the harmony and prosperity of the village. Despite his gentle demeanor, Baba Adekona was not a man to be crossed. His wisdom and patience were balanced by an unyielding sense of justice. He had the respect of both the young and old, and when conflict arose, his word was final. Underneath his calm exterior, there was a firmness that could not be swayed by bribes or manipulation, a quality that would prove vital when the truth about Chief Olowolayemo came to light. With Chief Olowolayemo's deception exposed, the villagers of Ido-Ani looked to Baba Adekona for guidance. As the village leader, it was his responsibility to decide Olowolayemo's fate. The air was thick with tension as the council of elders gathered in the village square, surrounded by villagers eager to witness justice. Baba Adekona sat silently for a long moment, contemplating the weight of the situation. He had seen many disputes in his time, but never had a matter of this magnitude threatened the fabric of their community. Rising slowly, his voice rang out, calm yet authoritative. Olowolayemo's actions have poisoned the heart of this village. His greed has turned brother against brother and endangered the lives of those he should have protected. The punishment for such a crime must be fitting. The elders agreed with Baba Adekona's judgment, and it was decided Chief Olowolayemo would be banished from Ido-Ani. His wealth, accumulated through deceit, would be returned to the villagers he had wronged. Olowolayemo, once the most powerful man in the village, stood before them, stripped of his status. His eyes darted around in panic, looking for some last-minute reprieve, but none came. Baba Adekona turned to him. "You are no longer welcome in Ido-Ani. You will leave with nothing, for the riches you gained were never truly yours." As Olowolayemo was led out of the village, the people who had once feared and respected him stood silent, their faces a mixture of relief and anger. Tani Mola, ever watchful, backed sharply as the former chief disappeared over the horizon, a final warning that his time of manipulation was over. In the weeks that followed Olowolayemo's banishment, the village began to heal. The wealth he had stolen was redistributed among the people, with Baba Adekona overseeing the fair return of land and resources. The villagers, once divided by Olowolayemo's schemes, grew closer, working together to rebuild what had been lost. Adebayo, the humble farmer whose courage had exposed the truth, became a symbol of the village's resilience. Though he shied away from the spotlight, many saw him as a natural leader, guided by integrity rather than ambition. Tani Mola, the dog who had led Adebayo to Olowolayemo's secret, became a beloved figure in the village. Children would gather around the loyal dog, petting its fur and listening to stories about how it had uncovered the chief's treachery. For Adebayo, life returned to a new kind of normal. His farm thrived with the support of his neighbors, and he found peace in the simple joys of village life, content knowing that justice had been served. With Olowolayemo gone, Ido-Ani flourished in ways it hadn't in years. The village leaders, including Baba Adekona, took extra care to ensure that no one individual ever again held too much power. The system of governance became more democratic, with regular meetings where villagers could voice their concerns and share ideas for improvement. People began to trust one another more, rebuilding the bonds that had been frayed by years of manipulation and greed. Baba Adekona continued to lead with quiet strength, his respect for the people deepening after seeing how they had united against corruption. Adebayo, now a respected figure in the village, found himself in constant admiration of Baba Adekona's wisdom and grace. Life moved forward, with Tani Mola always by his side, a living reminder of the truth that no one, no matter how rich or powerful, owned the world.